They say good things take time and great things take even longer. Welcome to episode 5 of this laundry room remodel series. To recap, last week we took some old barn wood from an old shop we tore down on our property, cut it down to size, planed it, and built a door for our second bathroom in the same laundry room space.
What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of?
We also built out the base cabinet for our apron style sink that'll go right between the washer and the dryer. We even attempted but miserably failed to restore this 70-year-old door, but don't worry, the door's not getting replaced. With all of your recent suggestions, advice, and tips, I am sure we will find a solution for it. So remember, this is what the laundry room looked like just over a few weeks ago, and this is what it looks like now. The work must continue, so let's go ahead and get started on the next task, tiling this entire back wall. Before I could tile the back wall, I figured I'd get some of the smaller things out of the way, like painting the sink base cabinet to match the top ones. Not sure if you remember, but I had mentioned my original idea was to have the bottom base stained as opposed to painting it, but the more I thought about it, I felt like painting it would look best, since I will be adding more wood tones throughout the room, including the flooring, so I felt like it would be a better balance of the two. Because my cabinet is a frameless cabinet, I did have to add a few small pieces to the front to hide the gap on each end of the sink and the cabinet wall. I also managed to cut and build the doors that will be installed at a later time. Early on, when I built the upper cabinets, I also cut and edge banded some shelves to go on them, so I went ahead and placed those inside. With those smaller things out of the way, I went ahead and prepped the walls for the tile. Only the painted walls. I lightly sanded using 80 grit sandpaper. Because I didn't have a laser to help me get straight lines, I drew out my starting point following the window trim. I wanted this to be my starting point because I needed a full tile to run in between the window and the upper cabinets on each end. I chose to do this wall before installing my floors, so I don't already have any baseboards installed either. To make sure I started on the right height off of the floor, I added a sample size of the flooring I will be using, plus a 1x4 board for my baseboard, plus 2 stir sticks, which would equal to a 1/4 inch, just to give me an extra space. I started from the bottom and worked my way up, and it was a very repetitive process. I worked in smaller sections because I wasn't sure at what point my manager, aka my 2-year-old, for those of you who haven't met her, would show up, or aka wake up from her nap. If I had done all of it at once, I would have spread my thin set in a bit of a larger area. Not too large, but larger than what I was working in.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your color.
There's mosquitoes everywhere. So as you guys saw, I've already started to go ahead and add the tile to this back wall. One box is actually covered quite a bit of space, and it's actually covered a little bit more than I thought it was going to initially, so I'm pretty happy about that. This is going to be more of a time lapse for you with me explaining a little bit here and there. I am using the mortar that comes already pre-mixed, and the reason I chose to use that instead of mixing it myself is simply because of the convenience. This entire tub was like $14 or $15, which isn't bad at all. I went back and forth with the idea of using the dang, I forgot what it's called, but it's an adhesive, kind of like a sticker. I ended up deciding not to because this is a pretty expensive project. And like I said, that entire tub cost me $15. So I was like, it's kind of like a no-brainer as far as like saving money to just use this instead of the other one that I'm talking about. there was a subscriber that mentioned it to me, and I have been thinking about it. But don't worry, it is something that I want to review and use it, but it's just gonna have to wait for a later project that's a little bit smaller than this one, where I don't have to use as much of it. I believe it's like $30 something, and it only covers like 30, no, maybe even less. I think it only covers like 15 square feet. It seems like a good product. People who've used it before don't seem to complain about it, and it's less messy, obviously. It's obviously faster because you don't have to wait for it to dry. You could just the same day you can grout, so it does save you a bunch of time. But like I said, the main reason why I'm not trying it out is just cost.
They kind of tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with the way we are and the way we lose it. There's something different about us, and the reason why we stay. We fly around like paper planes. They never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us. Still they wanna tell.
I didn't have a whole lot of cuts to do, or at least it didn't seem that way, but for the most part I used a super inexpensive manual tile cutter. I believe it was like under $30. I had purchased this whenever I did my bathroom floor tiles, so I already had it in my garage. I also back buttered each tile, which I don't believe is necessary for smaller tile like this, but I figured I'd do it anyway.
Cup after cup. Yeah, it's just the way we do it.
Once the left side was almost completely done, with the exception of the smaller cuts I needed to make, I moved the washer out of the way and begun that side the exact same way. This side felt like it was much faster than the other side, maybe because I felt more confident and I had found my rhythm.
Sharing stories that we never had, yeah, none is real. I think we're searching for reasons not to be like them. We fly around like paper planes. They never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us. Still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are. There's something different about us. There's something different about us. There's something different about the way we are. Wanna be free of this heart, yeah. Wanna feel your arms around me. I need you more, need you here, more than I would like to admit. Let's forget about tomorrow, yeah. Should I hide away forever?
I made sure to mark where my door trim would be placed so I could stop the tile up to that point.
Call you mine, think about you every time. I remember that it's over, yeah. You never break, you never lie, you're never ever scared of the dark. So why am I the one who cries? I'm so afraid to be left behind. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop, yeah, yeah. You never lose an argument,
I left all of the more difficult and smaller cuts for the wet tile saw, which I picked up from a garage sale actually, that my neighbor had told me about a few months back. So I've had it in my garage, I've just never used it. So this was my very first time using it. I paid, I think it was $20 or $30, I can't remember.
I always knew that this would happen. Yeah, you would find a new distraction. I need you more, need you here, more than I would like to admit. Can we let go of tomorrow?
I'm not gonna lie, towards the end, it really felt like I was never gonna finish. Like, it's like, oh my God, I'm kind of over it at this point. So I'm just removing all of my spacers. I'm fine if some of them fall, obviously, but I'm not trying to make a huge mess so that I can start grouting. I did wait an additional day because, I don't know, it's been really, really wet outside, super humid. It's been raining for like 3 weeks nonstop, really. I'm not even exaggerating. It's really been raining for like 3 weeks. I wanted to make sure that this was like really set before I went ahead and grouted. So now we're ready to grout. As soon as I get all of this off, I went ahead and mixed my grout already, so I'm just gonna take a little bit and just, oops, make a mess, clearly. I just mixed it with water until I got this consistency, and now I'm just literally just placing it. I'm gonna work in sections because I don't want it to dry on me before I get a chance to clean it up. It's a little bit darker than I was hoping, but it looks good. I was hoping it was gonna be a little bit more white, but whatever.
Yeah, you never break, you never lie, you never ever scared of the dark. So why am I the one who cries? I'm so afraid to be left behind. I think about you a lot.
Okay, it's been about 20 minutes since I started. I wanted to do it in a small section. By the time I was done, it was already like 10 minutes since I started. And then I'd wait an extra 10 minutes and then start cleaning it just to see if that was like a good amount that I could take on before moving on to the next section. And yeah, I think that's gonna work out perfectly, actually. Oh, falling over.
It's almost like I can't stop, yeah. You never lose an argument, so I've been trying hard to pretend that I'm okay. It's just a phase, and everything is going just great. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop.
I continued the same process of working in smaller sections and then 20 to 30 minutes later going in with a damp sponge and removing any excess grout. 30 minutes after that, I went back and wiped it down again to remove any haziness. Now that the grout is on and clean, let's see where we're at. Remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on your post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads or any episodes leading up to the final reveal. As always, I love y'all. Thank you for being here and sticking around. Be kind, and I'll see y'all next week.